It's almost Election Day, so let's talk about the right to vote in the United States. Right-wing media have long claimed that the integrity of elections in the U.S. is at stake due to rampant voter fraud and have called for more requirements to vote, like voter ID laws, for example. Voting is a right, but it's not always easy for some people to get to the voting booth. As you might know, the right to vote began in America as a legal privilege exclusively available to white, property-owning Protestant men. And all white men would gain the right to vote with the passage of the 14th Amendment in 1868. The 15th Amendment passed in 1870, giving freed male slaves the right to vote. However, many states enacted Jim Crow laws, which were a formal, codified system of racial apartheid that also systematically denied the right to vote through the use of literacy tests, poll taxes, the grandfather clause, and other racially motivated criteria. People also threatened black voters with violence if they tried to enter a polling station, or worse, acted on these threats. Women gained the right in 1920. And it wasn't until 1965 that the Voting Rights Act was signed, which helped strike down Jim Crow laws and enforce the 14th and 15th Amendments. But while states can no longer force people to take literacy tests, they can still pass voter ID laws. And just like Jim Crow laws, strict voter ID laws intentionally and unfairly target communities of color. Because more often than other groups, they lack the resources to get proper IDs. Today, 34 states have voter identification laws requirements on the books. Lawmakers in states with additional identification requirements claim they are preventing voter fraud, but many have openly admitted that these laws are just meant to prevent people from showing up, as a way to sway an election.
The law is going to kick the Democrats in the butt. If it hurts a bunch of college kids that's too lazy to get up off their bohunkus and go get a photo ID, so be it. If it hurts the whites, so be it. If it hurts a bunch of lazy blacks that wants the government to give them everything, so be it.
In-person voter fraud, which strict voter ID laws are supposed to stop, does not exist. A recent study found 31 incidents of in-person voter fraud out of more than 1 billion ballots cast. Another study from the Brennan Center for Justice found that the chance of someone impersonating someone else to vote is less likely than you getting struck by lightning. Attacks on the Voting Rights Act have drawn support from Chief Justice John Roberts, who questioned the necessity of the act, claiming that, quote, nearly 50 years later, things have changed dramatically. Strict voter ID requirements are dangerous, misguided, and a step backward. These laws present substantial barriers to voting and negatively affect voter participation. The history of the United States is characterized by a gradual expansion of voting rights. As democracy continued to evolve, the right to vote has been expanded to include more and more Americans. Don't take your right to vote for granted.